Hello everyone, welcome back to the Two-Line Pass. Today we're going to do a two-line pass first look. We're going to take a look at a 2025 NHL Draft prospect in Yaroslav Bryzgalov from Belarus. Not necessarily because I want to start looking at 2025 draft players yet, but there's nothing obviously already clipped on YouTube for him that I could see. So I'm going to be the people's champ here and put something up. Now, this is summer hockey. The game is from mid-August, so I'm not going to do a deep dive. It's silly to get all wrapped up in a hockey game in August in a league and a tournament that I'm not familiar with. So let's take this casual and see what we see. One, he's listed on EP at 6'3", 205. He gets knocked down without a lot of force there. Let's see if that's a fluke. And then he's going to go back at the guy. So let's see if that's a level of sandpaper that stays or if it's just the old first shift, take a hit, give a hit mentality. Okay, now this is an interesting route defensively, but then you look at it and it kind of worked out. It's weird for F3 on the back check to magnetize to the right defense spot there. But again, I don't know this league. I don't know how this team plays, so I don't want to read too much into it. Okay, so first thing we notice here, skating is looking pretty rough. That's a fairly stiff and unproductive and borderline ugly stride. It's also short without much extension, and that kind of jives with what we saw on the first shift where he got knocked down and he fell kind of hard, so to speak. But maybe he's just getting warmed up and getting back into the season again. Regardless, nothing has to be perfect right now. We're just gathering loose bits of information. I remember, he's, for all intents and purposes, he's a year away from possibly being selected at this point, so we don't have to go crazy. Also, I don't know how important this tournament is. Not to belittle it, I don't know. I don't find the Holinka tournament to be that important, so I can't imagine what this is. So we don't have to go crazy, but at first blush, the mechanics of the stride look like they're going to probably need a little bit of retooling. And maybe every young player needs to add strength, right? But maybe there's some core strength here that can help with that. Maybe there's some hip mobility that will help with that. Or maybe when I get to see him in person, it'll look different than how it looks on video, which is possible too. All right, power play shift. So we're going to be out at the left point here. So that's usually power play quarterback territory. His assist rate from last season is another clue that that's probably the case, but let's see what we get. Okay, so we'll get a shot. Let's check some shooting mechanics real quick because we're in a position to do so. He's coming downhill at it without much pressure. It's about what I'd expect. This isn't a shooting clinic, so it's a real game, so I don't need perfection. Hands are out away from the body. There's some good push-pull activation from the top hand to the power hand. The leg drive is lacking, which you'd predict, right? With this type of stride. So at a glance, there's probably going to be more to add to a shot once he gets his legs right. So let's keep this moving and see what else we got. We're going to go back to the, oh my. Okay, that's really bad. That's a bad pass. It's not going to be able to do much about it. You know, his edges aren't as bad as his speed. He can't, I'd like to see him stop and come back for something. Let's see, he's going to stay with this here instead of going off. He's back at the left point again. I don't blame him after that pass to try to get some redemption. All right, I kind of see what's going on. Yeah, this is going to go down low and then back high and then across. Yeah. All right, so this is all right, 5-on-3. This is kind of the set play. Sometimes I don't want to excuse it. There he does it pretty well. I don't want to excuse it, but sometimes you can get caught up in these set plays on the power play or even at any time and end up in a situation where you kind of coach yourself into a cocoon and players just kind of naturally go through the motion. There's another shot, so I guess he's a shooter too. That gets eaten, and he's not going to be able to do much about this either. Yeah. Boy, I don't want to excuse that. That was a bad decision with that previous pass that he made, but I see what they're trying to do there. That's tough. And again, like, you don't want to get too caught up with it because, you know, this is a Soplakov Cup game, right? And in mid-August, you don't want to get too hung up on just the tactics. Oh, I wish that didn't go through them. You don't want to get too caught up on you don't know the league, right? You don't know how this team is going It's summer hockey, so you don't want to get lost in it. And the other thing is, you end up creating, even if it's the Holinka and all this stuff that happens in the summer, you end up starting a list, and then you create anchoring bias on yourself, right? Or it's like, oh, I had this guy at number 4 on August 9th for some reason, and then you realize in January that he stinks, and then you're stuck, well, I can only move him so far because he's at 4. Well, don't put him at 4. Don't do that right now. I'm surprised on the PK that didn't find the exit there, but I'm not talking about this guy. I think this could be a player, but the idea is that, you set yourself up for failure by locking yourself into a list too soon. Just worry about gathering information. Okay, dying seconds of a power play for the under 18 Belarusian team. Coming up the boards here. That's a slick exit pass. I like that. That shows good spatial awareness. That pass means that you're thinking before the pass reception, which is always a plus. Let's see, circle in the net. He's going to get it. He's on the interior here. His stick's facing the interior. Nice hands. Doesn't materialize, but that shows some skill. That was his best shift yet. It's going to be a little tough for this kid to get exposure where he's at. The second tier Belarus. Oh, goodness.
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Yeah, sometimes you got to just be aware of where you're at. If you're in a league that's unfamiliar, just take a few games and familiarize yourself with how it goes. Just know where you're at. The word on the street is that he's coming to Des Moines of the USHL, which would be great for both parties. Des Moines' top Phase 2 player just walked to the Tri-City Americans of the WHL, so they have a hole. And in some ways, just a glance, you squint, and there's sort of a Ilya Protas mold here. So the Buccaneers should be able to weaponize him pretty good. That was the Capitals' 3rd-round pick in 2024. That's a really nice move coming off the wall in a bracketed spot. There's a feint here. He gets the declaration from the defender. Stick handles clean to open space and makes a good pass. That's a nice skill play. And then coming back, good support. Good support on the exit. And then here we're going to see, this is a really good concept, and really the execution's good too on a pass to the interior. The player that gets it throws it in the garbage, but here we go, timing and stick positioning on the forecheck, and he's there to create a problem, and he pushes through to the second level as well. Going back to that pass, you can make all the passes you like. Sometimes you're on some teams, and this is true. This isn't. I'm not picking on this league. It's true in the USHL. It's true in prep school. It's true on some teams in the OHL. You can pass it all you like. Doesn't mean you're going to get it back. But I'm glad I didn't turn this off to the power play shift. We have some foundational pieces of an NHL draft pick here. In retrospect, I think I misread their score bug in a previous clip, but no matter. We're back on the power play here for another chance at that. Let's see if it goes any better. He's going to be back out at the left point. Bobbles the pass. Okay. Oh, that's much better. Look at that. Doesn't panic. Doesn't rush it. Manipulates the penalty kill. We got some shot fakes in there. We make a diagonal pass. That's so much better. So I'm going to blame the coach for the 5-on-3 mishap then. And what did I say before? Like, take the time to learn a new league if you're going to evaluate from that league. If you think that you can just jump in and understand gameplay and tactics and pace and officiating and tendencies and all that, you might be wrong. This is the start of the second period, and because the U18s are on the power play, they're starting the period with an attack zone faceoff. We'll get some consecutive power play time here for Bryzgalov and his mates. We see some early upside in his play near the wall, specifically coming off the wall. So much of the game is played within 3 feet of the boards, and I haven't seen a lot of puck battle situations per se. I have concerns there because of the weight shift ability. I just kind of wonder about his lower body strength and ability a little bit right now, but it'll take time. But he looks pretty confident getting off the boards, which is an important aspect of board play in and of itself. Being able to navigate pucks back into the middle and making a play with it. It's an under-evaluated skill, in my opinion. He's already looking a little smoother all the way around here. He just looks more warmed up. And again, summer hockey, it's a real mixed bag. Don't hang your hat on it. Oh my goodness, this power play has been a house of horrors. No chance Bryzgalov is going to catch that guy. Nice finish on the shorthanded goal. We'll take it to the next shift here. He'll start in the defensive zone. And he's gonna hold his own here in his own end, and then some to a degree. I do think the edge work could be the foundational piece of his skating here. I'm not sure where the rest of it's gonna go right off the bat, but that's okay. If you have a piece to build off of, kind of a bedrock piece of his skating that you can build off of, then you can incorporate skills on top of that. For a player with his frame, immediately puck protection techniques jump to mind. And then, like I talked about before, can we incorporate those two pieces into getting off the wall consistently, right? Which he already has seemingly a natural concept of and seems to do it effectively at this level. And then you take it even a step further, where you're combining skill chaining and the frame and edge work and spatial awareness, and then, okay, well, now what's the catch and release shooting look like in the interior? Can we create and find and keep space in high traffic areas without getting knocked off the disc or knocked off your spot inside? And now all of a sudden you have all these pieces that sort of make sense together. And then in the background, you're still working, you still want to work on your first step quickness. You want to work on your top speed and all that, but you don't have to sell out to be fast for the sake of being fast. Be very good at the things that you already have and make them great. And then we can kind of come back around and fix some of the weaknesses and just get them up to average if you can. And then you have a more complete skill set all the way around. We saw earlier in the sequence that there was a nice little cut to the inside and then a release. So we're just going to let this power play shift finish up here. This pass here, that's a little loose. He invites speed into the lap of his teammates, so that's not amazing. But he's in a hurry to get over to the left point. And he's way out there. Good feet across. That's a tough seam pass. Well, that'll work. The much maligned power play cashes in from way downtown on the goal by Bryzgalov. So that's a couple of nice plays that he put together there. There's some good upside here. It gets a little glitchy at times here. That's not you or even me. That's just Belarus. Then Starlink. I don't know. I have no idea why. It just gets the stream just gets a little backed up at times. Here he is tracking back in the defensive zone. He's gonna eat that shot. That's nice, and he gets a piece of this based on the body language, everyone, and then he moves it into the interior. So again, we talked about just his puck battle ability and his ability to get pucks back and move them fruitfully into the middle of the rink. He keeps showing that, which is a real positive. We're gonna mop up this PK shift. Look at this. I like how he attacks the puck here. There's a mindfulness here about that. The way that he goes about that puck, he doesn't reach for the puck as soon. Look at this. He walls off a guy in the interior. Yeah, this is what I was talking about on the last shift. He kind of builds a wall naturally. He understands his limitations, and hockey sense. One of the undersung things about hockey sense is just knowing what your limitations are as a player. He didn't really take a stride there in that last little bit. He walled off the guy, he walled off the stick, and then captured the puck. Same thing when he went and picked up that puck in the previous sequence where he picked it up on his backhand. He didn't reach and touch the puck as soon as he possibly could. What he did is he got up on his edges, which he's confident with, attack the puck on his backhand so that he could swing through and get up ice. This allows him to attack the defender, put the defender back on his heels, and then he goes and attacks and he gets to the net. Here we go. Good shot right there. I think the goalie gets a piece of that with his glove. I'm quickly... This is why you stay with it for more than 3 shifts, right? This player is quickly growing on me in this tournament. Good cross ice entry pass there. Like he's doing stuff. He's doing stuff that an NHL style draft pick would do. Even adjusting for some of the level of play here. Let's see him try to work off the wall again. Kind of put it towards the net, but his teammates got a crack at it. There's a lot of pieces here, even if not fully refined. Hold the phone. Did he just intentionally let the puck go through his legs back to the point, like Mario Lemieux in the 02 Olympics? Because I was just about to say, this doesn't immediately read like he's a top half of the first round pick or anything like that, but a draftable player. If he's letting the puck go through his legs perfectly to a point man, then let's rethink everything. Move over Hagens and some of these guys at the top. I'm taking this guy right now, to use a hack comedy term. But seriously, folks, let's get back to reality here for a minute. This is a good player. There's concepts here. I'm having too much fun with this. There's concepts here that are very scalable. There's a lot to work on, but there's also a good base to work off of, which is important. It's going to be a pretty decent jump for him. I think it sounds like he's going to get to Des Moines of the USHL. They might get both their imports even, which would be a help. But there's already conceptually, there's some pieces in place that you like. There's a good skill level. I see a shot in there. And there's some conceptual playmaking that makes you think early on too. So there's a lot to like with this player. We'll continue to track him as the year goes on. As for now, that's it for the two-line pass. This was a first look at 2025 NHL Draft prospect Yaroslav Bryzgalov.